Installing Linux on random computers, episode 3. The Acer Aspire 1. I don't know exactly which model it is. I looked at the bottom and according to it, it's the PAV70. Do I get any info from this? Oh, I do. This Aspire 1 features an Intel Atom, specifically the N570, which is clocked at 1.67 GHz. It has 2 cores with hyper-threading. It supports DDR3. And this thing used to have a gigabyte of RAM, so I doubled it by swapping a single stick, which is the maximum it can support. That is 2 GB. It also used to have a hard drive inside, but it was dying, so I replaced it with an SSD. Now, is it faster? Maybe it is a little faster, but not by much. Other than that, it's just enough to install Linux on this thing, so let's turn it on. Yeah, and as you can see, the battery still works. It doesn't last long? Well, it probably lasts like an hour before it runs out. Anyways, we're now running Linux from this thing. And today's Linux distro is Zorin OS. We're gonna plug in the charger because it's never a safe idea to install an OS on battery. Here's one of the quirks about this netbook is that for some reason, when it loads the display driver, the display backlight turns off for 5 seconds and then it turns back on. It's like it's trying to hide something, but what is it trying to hide? Oh boy, it's doing an ND5 check. Good thing I have enough time for that. Huh, never mind, it's going faster than I anticipated. Here's a complaint. There used to be info officially from Intel about this processor. Unfortunately, it seems Intel has decided to remove it. The Pine View also has 64-bit support, along with hyper-threading, so you don't just have 2 cores, you have like 4 threads. Alright, we're almost reaching the desktop. Or the installer, I don't know. Okay, never mind. Turns out it was loading the installer. Well, in that case, we're installing Zorin OS onto this thing. Yeah, okay, I connected this thing to the internet, and instead of... Oh, now it works. Okay, fine. It's still third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi. I don't think it's necessary, unless if you want to play MP4 videos. Well, I guess it just took a long time to check for updates. Or just decided that it's not available because apparently there's no internet connection. The computer currently has Windows 7. Do you want to erase the disk or install alongside? Erase the disk. Wait, why is it creating an ESP partition? This is a legacy BIOS system, not a UEFI system. Anyone else just log in automatically instead of requiring a password to sign in? I do that because it's quicker. Anyways, there begins the installation, which is the most time-consuming process out of everything. 14:27. Or 2:27 p.m. And it's still not done. It literally went out and made lunch, which is why the lights is off. Let me turn it back on. Done. Anyways, this thing is still installing, so... And installation's complete. Restart. Please remove the installation medium and then press enter. Okay. Done. Welcome to Zorin OS. Can I move the window around? Because, the screen is so small that the buttons are covered by this. Start tour. Open the menu to launch apps. Wow. That looks so cool. Okay, I did it. Can I continue now? Oh, okay. Launch Zorin appears, which allows you to change the looks of Zorin. Make it look like macOS, Windows, or Ubuntu. You have to upgrade to Zorin OS Pro. Okay, whatever, I choose this because of that small display. Anyways, next. Use software to find and install apps. They call it software instead of something like App Store or Software Installer or something like that. Downloading software catalog. Wait, is this just a rebatch Snap Store? I just noticed the date and time is shown in a French format, even though the operating system's language is in English. While it's still downloading software catalog in the background, it has just now told me that updated software has been issued since Zorin OS 17 was released. Do you want to install it now? Well, no shit. It's years old at this point. Gone for so long, the screen just locked itself. No worries, I can unlock it, and it's still downloading. Just as I was about to move on, it finally finished. The App Store looks just as fun as the App Store on iOS 10 and older. And not only that, it's really sluggish, which is... I don't know if that's surprising. The Play icon nearly looks like the one from Google Play Store. I mean, Zorin OS pretty much sort of mimics Google with the icon design and stuff. Not sure what to download here yet. Let's move on. What's next? That's it. Oh, okay. Go away. Anyways, look at this. Doesn't this look like Windows? No? Okay. We got the Catfish Valve Search. Why does it have a specific name? Whatever. Phone Manager. Wow, that's surprisingly smooth. I expect it to be just as sluggish as the App Store. Anyways, let's go to settings because I want to change a few things. Oh wow, this looks like the XFC settings. Mouse and touchpad. Yeah, because this thing is a touchpad. What? It's set to 2-finger scrolling? 2-finger scrolling? What the fuck? It actually works? This thing is meant to do edge scrolling. Whatever, edge scrolling. I prefer that over 2-finger scrolling on this tiny thing. You can also change the look of the cursor if you want. Like, what is this? Handhelds. It's just a cursor but tiny. Red glass. It's the same cursor but it's larger. White glass. It's the same cursor but it's white. Whatever. At least this looks different from most distros. Time to do what this thing was made to do. Browse the internet. That's it. Browse the internet. So for internet, we got Brave web browser. It is pre-installed on Zorin OS. Maybe it no longer is on 18. I'm using 17 because it's the last version of Zorin OS Lite to be released, which is still supported until June 2029. The reason I chose this is because, well, this is a netbook, not a powerhouse. I would have chosen Core, but I was unsure of whether it would actually work. Because I remember trying Zorin OS on a low-end system, and for some reason, the desktop doesn't work. Anyways, as you can see right here, it asks for my authentication. Why? I don't fucking know. Maybe the data that is stored is encrypted. But who knows? Maybe I do need to type the password to use this, or not. Anyways, I typed the password so it should show up. It showed up. Welcome to Brave. Huh? Brave enough to use Brave, huh? Can't update Brave. Well, that's a first. I literally just installed Zorin OS. Not only is it outdated, but it cannot update itself. Okay. Why does it ask to be set as default browser? It's literally the only browser installed. You tell me there's also Firefox or Chrome here? Match system settings. Whatever. You want better search result? Just help us fix the web by participating in Brave Web Discovery project. No. Send diagnostic report. Imagine you saw the computer specs and they were like, man, this guy's rocking the lowest end system from the early 2010s. Also share private and anonymous product insight. Isn't the whole point is to be private with this browser? No? Okay. Guess I'll switch to Tor. Anyway, so as you've seen from the setup, it was sort of sluggish, but can it play a YouTube video? Alright, so remember when I reversed the scrolling direction? It didn't apply. It's still the same direction as before. Brave Shield blocked 2 trackers on YouTube.com. Okay, thanks. Ah yes, everyone's favorite YouTube video, the Costa Rica video. One of the most beautiful videos shot in 4K 60 HDR. Experiencing interruptions? Find out why. Let me guess, it's because I'm using an ad blocker. Well, it came pre-installed in the browser, so I can't really do much with it. Surprisingly, it seems to be playing smooth until you reach to that point where it doesn't look smooth anymore. Never mind. It automatically set itself to 360p. So let's set it to 240 and see if it's smoother now. Did it set to 1440? Uh-oh, that's not what I meant to choose. Oh no. Yeah, it's definitely smoother, but despite the small screen, you can definitely notice the low bitrate. Many people call it pixels, but to me it's more of a bitrate issue. Stats for nerds shows that it's occasionally dropping frames. Occasionally, I said. Moving back to 360p, it's still dropping frames, but in my opinion, it's still watchable. My best guess is the drop frame is caused by the use of VP09, which the system doesn't have the capabilities to decode. Alright, despite everything, what about 480? It sort of plays smoothly. It drops more frames than usual, but once it gets used to it, it doesn't really drop frames anymore. It's only when it starts doing things in the background where it starts dropping frames. For some reason, the borders around the videos are red. If I disable ambient mode, will it fix it? Yep. Okay, so maybe YouTube might be playable, maybe it might not. But let's do other things such as visiting the Wikipedia. Does it know about this site? No, it doesn't even tell me the full URL. And it's finally loaded. Well, anyways, let's research something that is Zorin OS. Is it in the article? It sure is. That means that this shows up. Look, it's an article. It scrolls really smoothly because it's really just a page with a whole bunch of text, a bit of decoration, a few images. So it's not much to render. Let's try the old Reddit. Does anyone even use Reddit? Reddit seems to load faster than Wikipedia, but it still takes a while to load. Almost like you're on like the old cable internet. Though I'm on fiber optic. Is there any more website you want me to visit to see if this computer is worth browsing the internet with? All of these are the only website I would try to visit to see if it works or not. Is there anything Office related? There's LibreOffice, which is pre-installed. So what do we want to do? We want to write a document. The writer document. That's what it says, not me. You're running version 25.2 of LibreOffice for the first time. You want to see what's new? No! Go away! Anyways, time to type some word. Not bad. Let's try changing the font. I said let's try changing the font. It took a while. Almost like I was opening MS Paint with a bunch of fonts. When I scroll down, it's frozen. Oh, there we go. It just has to render the font, dude. It just has to render the font. Alright, let's make it extra bold. Alright, done. Now we increase its size. This one, it doesn't have to load anything. Some word in italic. Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure it's obvious that you can write a word talking about this thing. It's not too bad. What about the keyboard? Honestly, I don't have any preferences on keyboard. What can we use to draw? What the fuck? What can we use to draw? LibreOffice Draw. So it's the same software as we used before, except this is the drawing part. Do you actually draw using LibreOffice? Alright, we're in. So where's the drawing part? Is this how you draw? It smooths the drawing, so it's bad. Bad. No, don't save. Accessories. Oh wow, we got a new bunch of accessories, like calculator. We're gonna calculate. Using what software? Looks like GNOME. 8. The square root of 9. 24. For some reason, there's a clocks application. Add world clock. What do you do? Add the world clock? 1508. Huh, that seems just about right. There's a stopwatch. Yeah, you can count. There's also a timer. What does this timer ring when I... Is it me or is it off-centered? Okay, so the moment I started interacting with it, it recentered itself, so not a problem anymore. Okay, so when the timer is up, it plays possibly the most quiet sound I've ever heard. Might be because the volume is low. Huh, it's certainly low. My bad. Okay, so what is the difference between these two? Because it doesn't even show an icon next to it that tells me what it is. So remember when I said I reverse scrolling direction and it didn't work? It works here. That's even weirder. How fast is the SSD on this thing? I'm curious. Fast. Alright, well, now it's fast. Well, except the read-and-write speed is just about here. Which is definitely higher than the hard drive, but do you consider that fast? I do consider this fast. It's just limited by SATA 2. What's the Linux kernel on this thing? 6.8. Huh, I thought it was gonna be older than this. Obligatory screen fetch. Anyways, you wanna know what Zorin OS has a reputation for? Built-in Windows app support. Well, unfortunately, it's not installed by default, but you can indeed run Windows apps on Linux, and Zorin OS literally advertises that feature. Oh good, it's software catalog again. Alright, pro tip, do not let the system fall asleep, or else this happens. Nothing in the desktop, even after logging in. Where's everything? All I see is this freaking cursor. Usually when something like this happens, I just reset the desktop environment, like I took my username, the password. It doesn't work? Oops, wrong username. Anyways, as I was saying, sudo services, I think. Oh, come on, I have to type services. No, it's not services. Whatever. Is it light DM or GDM? Let's see. It's light DM. Okay, so the Windows app support is basically an app that installs wine and bottles. Install. Alright, so I thought it was taking too long for it to be like installing successfully. So I click cancel and now it says uninstall. It's like, is it fully installed? But it didn't tell me until I click cancel. Well, Windows App Store's here now. Bottles or wine? Maybe both. Alright, so my external SSD plugged in. There's this IT64 setup. I know it could run anything else other than this, but I'm curious. Cider can be installed from software. Cider isn't altered. No, I just want install Windows app support. It's installed. Why are you asking me to install it? What? Okay then, let's try this one. Oh wait, this is an MSI, not a fuck. Let's try this Windows executable that I have no idea what this is. What do you mean install Windows app support to run the software? Alright, so in conclusion, it wasn't actually installed. The problem is, it was giving no info on whether it was fully installed or not, or if it was halfway through and stuff. All it said is preparing, almost like it was stuck in the beginning, so... The Windows app support is so great, it works really well as y'all saw. And it's opening the software app again. Okay, for some reason it's running a Python script on my SSD and it seems to be stuck because it's supposed to be a way long ago. What? Failed to eject? Yeah, what the fuck? Fine, I'll restart. This gives me the opportunity to see how fast this thing boots to Zorin OS. Now keep in mind, this is on an SSD. So yeah, it takes about a minute to start up. So is it worth installing Linux to make a netbook more usable? I mean, in my opinion, it was already usable with Windows 7 pre-installed. Considering that people are literally making softwares compatible with Windows 7, you don't need Windows 10 for this. But yeah, Linux definitely works, and it's usable if you can tolerate how slow this thing is, despite having an SSD and the maximum amount of RAM it has, mostly caused by this Intel Atom. And I just now noticed the system is pretty warm on this side, which is where the CPU is. Also, the battery still works. Like I said earlier, the battery still works. See, it's running from the battery. Cool, right? I can move it around. The fan is also pretty silent, although you can hear it when you're not in a noisy environment. It's only silent when you're in an environment where you hear other people talk. You don't really hear the fan, but when you take a closer listen to it, you can hear it. That's because the fan is that tiny. This tiny. I feel like this thing is struggling to cool itself down. Well, anyways, I think I pretty much did everything you would do on Linux, right? What? I didn't game? Well, that's because this thing is not a gaming powerhouse. So yeah, you know what? This is gonna be the whole video. Happy Easter.